All right, let's get to this finally. I gotta get these thoughts out of my head. So, I got some notes and everything. Bear with me. We're gonna be doing our thing in regards to the economic hitman. This is gonna be heavily emphasized when it comes to the sign Libra. So, prepare yourselves, all right? Don't take this reading too personally, or try not to take this too personally. It might be some trigger warnings here, but just try to keep an open mind. All right. Now I've thought about maybe I might make financial classes regarding astrology and stuff like that, but the more that I think about it, the more that I'm feeling reluctant to do so. Reason being is because of this video right here. Um, I guess we have to say, or I guess I would have to say, as a narrator, that this is the way life has to be. I guess for right now, anyway, at least. Because, I believe the people who wrote the religious texts knew something when they said that God gave dominion over the world to the man. But, however, at the same time, I personally think that here I go taking it personally, right? But I personally think that spirit rules the world. Spirit rules the earth. God, the universe, rules over the earth. That's me. But I get it. Maybe it was the signs of the times. I think it has a lot to do with it being the Piscean age / Aries age. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't know, the age will produce the characteristics of the sign after it. All right. So Piscean age produces Aries characteristics while Piscean stuff was being done. Same goes for the Aquarius age now. Aquarius age will produce Piscean stuff as Aquarius things are being done. So on and so forth. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right. I may cuss, but I will not curse. All right. Let's get that situated first. Bars. I'm nice. Now let's get into this. Okay. So the reason why I call this economic hitman, because if you haven't heard, and it might be a little bit extra, but hey, bear with me. It is similar to what I am saying. Yeah, this is economic hitman. Economic hitmen are like people that get allegedly sent into places around the world or into companies to investigate or infiltrate to find out information that can bankrupt that company, that person, those people, etc., etc., or extract resources or wealth from them in some type of way that deals with the economy. So if someone is selling a hazardous product, a kid chokes on it, oh, why I had to go so far there? But you get what I'm saying, right? Something happens in regard to something, a product, a service, people must get compensated, right? Economic hitman. I don't care who, look, economic hitman. And the economic hitmen are the lawyers, okay? Even if there are people who get paid under the table, behind the scenes, whatever, to go infiltrate and find out this information, they become moles, what have you. It's still up to the lawyers to go in there and clean up shop, to clean these people out, okay? And the lawyers are ran by Libra. When you think lawyers, you think Libra. When you think judges, you think Sagittarius. All right, keep that in mind. Yes, all of the courts are involved with each other, but there's levels to this shit. The lawyers go in and they clean up shop. Why? And I've said this before in other videos. I feel sorry for the sign Libra out of all of the signs of the zodiac. They don't have an animal. Right, so their opposite is Aries, the baby. It's a ram, right? Opposite of it is a scale. I want you to think about that for a minute. The opposite of the baby is a scale. If you know Egyptology and you know about weighing the heart on the scale when after passing on, going into the underworld, if you know that story, stay tuned. Because the underworld is like the sign after Libra. It's like Libra. Because if you look at the zodiac wheel, once it gets to Libra, it starts going to the lower rung of the wheel. Once it gets to the scale. And that is considered the underworld. Egyptology. Modern day, we call it Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. You get what I'm saying? In a more detailed manner, should I say. So that's the symbology of it. That's the analogy of it, right? Now, think about this. The scale is there to do what? To balance things out. To balance things out. Which should mean that equality on earth exists already. There has to be equilibrium. There has to be a balance, or else why would it be there? Right? So Aquarius age is even more of a reason to bring this topic up, because Aquarius rules over humanitarian efforts and equality. The belief that everyone should be equal and have a chance. And see, this is why we have these economic hitmen, because we're operating as men. We're operating a lot of the times, well, I don't know how frequent, but we're operating as men. Every man may not have God within them, or be able to tap in, not able to tap in and know the discernment of God speaking to them. Very tricky thing to even say, even for myself, because in a world where we need economic hitmen, someone's got to get their hands dirty. Someone's got to go in and says, I'm going to do it. You know what? Once upon a time, and this happens a lot of the time, especially in New York, there are lawyers that won't take certain cases. And they'll tell you why. They'll say, I'm not going up against them because I want to work in this town again. I've heard it with my own ears. So that should let you know what we're about to get into right now. All right. So let's define the word balance, which the scale represents. It's an even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. The purpose is to keep one from falling. Upright and steady. So when you pedal a bike, right, you notice how the bike pedals are like a scale as well? In order to stay up on the bike and keep on being in motion, upright and steady, you have to keep pedaling and you have to keep your balance, right? So every human, every Aries, every baby, every ram that's born onto this earth should have the divine right to be upright and to keep their balance. But oftentimes in this 3D realm, the baby is attacked as soon as it gets here. There's even instances where the baby is attacked before they get here. We know about following the stars to find out where someone was born or where they're about to be born, right? To meet them and then track them and make their life a living hell. Pretty sure we all heard that story before. Did I digress a bit? Bring a little entertainment to the joint, you know what I mean? But it's true. That's what balance is. Now, again, if we look at the zodiac wheel, when it gets to the season fall, things start to erode. Things start to color away. They start to fade away. You can see things are beginning to be barren, right? But it's a beautiful time because the fruits hang low. You get the grasp from the things that you've initially planted. You get to reap the reward of the things that you began, initiated with Aries, with the baby. You see, in astrology, there are masculine and there are negative signs. The masculine signs generate energy. The feminine signs destroy energy. And I know some of y'all are like, no, energy can't be destroyed in this, that, and the third. Well, let's say repress, suppress, make disappear for a little while. You know what I mean? And you may say to yourself, well, why is that? Or you may be a negative sign. I'm a Pisces. What are you trying to call me a destroyer? Am I calling myself a destroyer? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is where it gets complex. This is where it gets tricky, because you might say, well, how? Why? Why would you even admit that? Why would you even, the same reason or the same way that a Scorpio has to admit it, the way that a Virgo has to admit it, the way that a Capricorn has to admit it, so on and so forth, of all those that are negative, originally pessimistic signs. You have to actually try to be positive and productive. It's not really in your innate capability of your soul. It's something that you have to work at. Now, a lot of y'all don't want to admit this. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But I'm keeping it a bean with you. I done took the intelligence tests and all that. When I first took it, I was 55% negative and positive. Like, yeah, borderline pessimistic. That's me. I show effort to be positive and productive. I do see the light, but at the same time, I know who I am. The same way that Leo knows who they are. They shine bright. They generate attention. They get everybody to come outside and gather around them. Get inside of the festival. Pass things around. Look out for others. Even if it sometimes costs them their lives. Some people don't like that shit. They'll go stab them or something. Take them out. Kill them, right? Destroy. No, the energy lives on. I get it. And I'm sounding sarcastic and I know that. You understand what I'm saying? They'll be back. Return in power. R.I.P. Return in power. I get it. But won't they be missing for a little while? Aren't they missing right now? Some of your loved ones, some of our loved ones, someone that we knew is no longer visible in the 3D right now because they were destroyed. Some people are breathing with us right now. They are suppressed. Memories repressed. Oppressed by negative energy. And it's because as one generates, one must take away. So look, right? People look at generation as all good, as all positive. I don't even want to label it too much, but it's like I have to for this discussion because let's say someone is generative, right? Meaning they produce energy by taking massive action. And you're like, oh yeah, look at them go. That's what we need. That's the positive of life. All of the masculine signs are the good signs of the zodiac, right? All right, so what happens when they rape someone? And you get in the comment section, or you could stay away from the comment section. I'm not forcing you to answer that question, but I'm saying that's a form of force, and that's a form of generation. What if they even impregnate the person that they rape? That's positivity. That's production. That's a positive charge because it goes after it. It's going to generate. Oh, what it doesn't sound positive anymore, right? And now we get another Aries coming into the world. And we got to make way as a village for that Aries. We possibly got to tell them one day what happened. Right? Or maybe not. Some people are real good at hiding the secrets. I'm a Pisces, I know all about it. Right? Maybe not. But maybe we do. Maybe the person that did it because they have the leeway to do it. Because they come from a large family that generates and has generated and generates the way they have stored up. I'm just going to call it resources right now. Enough resources to be able to get away with that type of thing. I'm putting it on the people with the money, y'all. Yes. In a different discussion or scenario, maybe not. But for this lesson, yeah, I am. It's very important that I do so. So generate it, right? Generated wealth. They get to get away with it to the point where they don't even dish out resources to the orphanage or the person or the people that they leave that kid with. They just say, good luck. Leave it somewhere on the orphanage step. Good luck. They might even donate, secret donor, right? But to the whole orphanage, not to the actual rape baby. I'm going to say it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of political stuff in the air this year and everything. So yeah, we might as well just talk about it, yo. So that type shit, right? So why does this happen? The only reason we have economic hitmen, the only reason why we need them is because there's something called scarcity. Scarcity is man-made. I discussed this when I broke down the UBI video, Universal Basic Income, which I'm telling you, it's going to come, pause. It has to, because spirit rules over the earth. not men. It's going to take real men to make that happen. And these men are not like your average military soldiers. I'm talking about men. Humanitarian men to make this happen. I don't want to veer too far off. But scarcity. Let's talk about it. What is it? Scarcity is when someone tells you, look, you can't have none because there is no more. Says who? Who made this rule? Who said this? Yeah, people be chalking everything up to gold. I hear people, especially in the finance world, often, everything's going to go back to gold. And gold is everything. Put your money in gold. I told you, gold has been around for this. There was seashells before gold. And there was something before seashells. Gold is not the all and be all. I know it represents the sun, and the sun, we worship the sun. Well, a lot of us do, and sun worship. The sun is probably God, because it's the God particle, it's the generator, it's the source, right? Good argument, we could say that. But at the same time, gold is not ever expansive. It's finite. It's limited. It's scarce. So some of you, or some of us, have this argument now. If it comes to politics, I don't really like to do it much, but again, we got to talk about it. It's Libra, public at large, economic hitmen, economics. We have to be aware that there is this talk about how government overspends, excess spending, the budget deficit is raising to this, that, and the third. You do understand that if we go back to like gold standard right now, then that means oppress, repress. You will see so much destroyed in an instant. It's like Thanos comes down and he don't even got to look for the gems. He got them all. And he'll snap the finger. That's what happens if we revert back to the gold standard right now. Now, some people are like, yo, so what? That's what we should have did because debt is that and the third. Listen, what I'm telling you, though. Gold or the sun is not the same as Venus. Venus is the wealth. Venus is the planet of love, wealth. Venus is ever abundant. There's no such thing as scarcity. It's bullshit. It's all lies. It's the biggest lie ever, but it's utilized, it's crafted to have control over the earth. Because once a person says, look, I got 10 of these, you got one of those, you're not getting no more of these. And you might be like, well, why? Because there is no more. But that's bullshit. There's always seeds to generate to grow more. That's bullshit. What are you talking about? And then you're going to associate it with money? Like, how is that? How can that be? So yeah, they keep printing dollars. They keep printing dollars. They keep printing dollars. Because they're supposed to. This is making some of y'all uneasy. I get it. When I first had to sit down and think about this, I was kind of uneasy. Because when I was in college, I did not like studying quantitative easing. But I had to keep studying it and keep studying it. Every year, I had to study quantitative easing. And then it started to dawn on me like, wait a minute. What if it wasn't quantitative easing? Think about this for a minute. If you just think about it for a minute. What could happen is this. There'll be a lot of destruction and death, right? Destroying, right? Energy lives forever. Okay, but what if people don't want to make no more babies anymore? What if people don't want to generate babies anymore? Am I ringing the bell here? Is it sticking to you? Because if I could have sworn that the population is declining. Am I right about that? Somebody get in the comment section if I'm incorrect or if I'm correct. Just get in the comment section. Let me know. Put a link to like a reputable source that can tell us whether the population is declining or not. Even if you're in a different country than the United States, I'd like to know about your region as well. So why? That's the other side of it, right? Like, oh, okay, well, we're just not going to make any more babies anymore. Well, that's something to think about. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad idea, but it's something to think about because then we'll have a scarcity of humans, a scarcity of humanity. It's still going to tie back to a scarcity of wealth, but when we study behaviorism was one of my favorite topics when I was teaching psychology to college students in York. Not only in York, Phoenix, online college as well. But anyway, behaviorism, B.F. Skinner and them, my favorite shit, because you can have a lot of generated wealth and be a complete idiot. You can be oppressed, repressed, negative, or poor, low, underworld, underground, whatever you want to call it, and be one of the most upright and balanced individuals you can ever encounter. And vice versa, right? So it's all going to come down to behaviorism, and that's why we can gather, is why people want to refrain from making more humans, from generating more humans. That and the imbalance of wealth, sure, of course. Of course, but it's like this. If you feel like you're going to keep generating and generating and generating, and that's not just humans, that's wealth as well, you got to ask yourself, you're generating for what? You're generating for assets, you're generating for clothes, you're generating for food, you're generating for a house number 2, house number 3. One day it's going to dawn on you when you're like, yo, you might leave a ER visit or something like that, and you're like, yo, why do I keep doing this? It's like the case of the middle class right now. If you make 150 grand right now and you're living paycheck to paycheck, something is insidious. Something insidious is occurring. And you got to question generation as well. The same way you question destruction, you got to question generation. See, people will always equate, or often equate, destruction or destroying with bad, because the negative signs extract wealth. This is what this discussion is really about. The generation and the extraction of wealth, but heavy emphasis on extraction so you can understand where I'm coming from with this. If it was full of haves, there would have to be some haves-nots, right? And I kind of discussed this. What video was that? I think the 8th House. Search that on my YouTube channel. I got a few 8th House videos. I think it was called Monkey in the Middle. Look at that video. It's got like an 8 in the. I killed the Photoshop shit. But anyway, I digressed. You'll see why there's a need for people to be on deck to extract wealth. Because it's like this. If you're more active than the average person, right? Let's take astrology. This is an astrology video. So let's look at astrology. We'll take Aries because it's first, highly energetic, definitely full speed ahead, right? Then we'll take Pisces. More nonchalant, laid back, easy going with the flow, all depending, but for the most part. And when you look at the two, there's a stark difference. It's evident. One should not be in denial. Although man ruling over earth will try to fit both of these types of personas in one box and make them both do the same thing that they want them to do, whoever they are. Right? One's a generator. The other one is an extractor, right? One just has to move, has to make moves. The other one is just like, maybe if I feel like it, I'll do something. But what do I really need to do? For what? For why? I could just go chill off the grid and eat berries and write, draw fucking pictures in the mud if I want to, right? Oh no, I can't. Why not? Oh, because you gotta be generating like the Aries. And this is not to single anyone out who are, like I said, don't take this shit personal. We're dealing with energy right now. But if someone was to single either one out, one of these out and say, well, look, you gotta do this, you gotta generate. We're gonna keep it on Pisces having to generate, force Pisces to generate, so I could explain extraction of wealth. Because Aries is moving, they're picking up twigs and building huts and what the fuck do you think you're going to make mud pies? We can't eat those mud pies. You want to build stick figures? We can't. What the fuck? Stick statues? Like, what the fuck is that? Art? What's that? it's not considered true generation, this is things that will be questioned. Oh nah, you gotta fall in line. You gotta conform. Right? And then you can see how this type of ideology will expand. Maybe there's more Aries on the earth than there is Pisces at one particular time, or vice versa. We could even just put it negative signs versus positive signs, right? Eventually what's going to happen is, sure, the negative signs might want to marvel in the generation that the generative signs have accumulated, right? So I guess you can call that the I don't know what you really can call it, because if you really want to narrow it down, it's going to really stem to behavior when it comes to generation. If you ask me, the producing of heat, movement, which produces friction, if you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? Which generates more humanity, more heat. So we just have a bunch of behavior if we want to get to the sole definition of generation. Because when you think about it, to be a receptor or an extractor, you're probably going to build construction first. Cancer rules over construction. Capricorn rules over construction. Homes, right? The earth, the ground level. The negative signs are going to build the homes. The destroyers, the oppressors, the repressors. But it's going to be the generators who generate the people. Eventually, something probably has to be made up, such as money. I'm going to just keep it a bean. Let me get to it, right? Such as money, so that the people who behave at a more rapid rate can obtain the freedom to continue doing so. How is that? Because when people start behaving at a rate that is not plausible to the whole village, to where they got to get their ass sat down, to where they violated somebody, and I'm going to just say in energy, we're going to speak in energy terms according to astrology. There's going to be some negative signs that come and snatch those people up and say, yo, you can't live your life like this. We're not going to let it happen. You already hurt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. It stops right now. We either tie you down, throw you in a river, bash your head with a rock. We're going to destroy you. We cannot let you continue to behave like this. So what happens is, let's say a negative sign or negative energies like some things about the generative thing, or someone just comes up with a ploy that says, hey, we should make something external of ourselves to represent our value. Money. Because really what money is, the oldest profession in the world is prostitution. It's just the feeling of touch, the value that's generated through touch. Just keep it a bean. But it's the harmonious type. It's the balanced type. That's why Venus rules over Libra. Can I touch you? Sure, you can touch it. Can I touch you here? Yeah, I can touch you there. Fine. How does it feel? It feels great. Do it again. Nice. But if I grab you and you're like, yo, unhand me, you scoundrel. And I'm like, no, I gotta have that. And you're like, no, unhand me. And all of that commences. We got a little bit too much generating going on. It's imbalanced. It's not harmonious. There's no consent. You have violated universal law. You broke universal law. I don't give a fuck what man you are. I don't care what last name you have. You have broke universal law. Karma will be paid. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. So create this thing external of ourselves to call it value. What begins to happen is, the more that people adopt that concept, is we could start making deals. 7th house, Libra, deals, contracts. Contracts saying what? Well, look, I really like to behave like this. It's in my DNA. I really like the girls, but I can't really speak to them like that. I can't really, they don't really resonate with me like they resonate with Jim. It's like Jim is a gem and I'm like this hideous monster. All right, go ahead, continue, speak. What are you trying to say? It's like, yo, look, you don't really care about Susie and them down that way, right? It doesn't look like it. It looks like you care about Sally and them way more. So look, just let me make my way down there to Susie and them and let me do what I do. If you hear any ruckus about it and they come snatch me up, look, I got these seashells that I can give you to get me out of the jam. Will you accept them? Will you take them? They might say, yeah. Why? Because they're extractors. They are destroyers, oppressors, and repressors. They take from what people believe that they have, from what the generators and the positrons have. Oh, you got seashells. That reflects who you are, something external from you. Okay. I might just go along with this, right? Deception, plots, all negative sign shit. Fuck, I'll go along with you because why not? Right? Maybe I don't give a fuck about Susie. Which one I said? Susie, Sally, or them down the road? Maybe I don't. Enough to say, hey. But I feel like, yo, if the village men down there with Susie don't give a fuck about her like that, then that's their fault. They need to form a militia and stab you in the fucking head. But since they won't, and you up here in my face because I got some type of clout and power, yeah, I'll take your fucking seashells and I'll store them somewhere. That's what government does, y'all, in case you don't know. Government extracts from wealthy people so wealthy people can get away with what they've been doing. So right now we have someone on trial for RICO and they're in jail. They're not out on bail. And then we have someone else who is out on bail for not exactly committing treason, but inciting an insurrection against the United States government. And they was just at a UFC fight. So there's different levels to this whole wealth shit. There's different levels to this generated massive generational wealth. And it comes to the point where the lawyers step in. And the lawyers say, well, yeah, you've gotten away with this, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. We've been aware of this because we have plenty of negative energy out here who investigates for these reasons, because we will come take what we need to take from you to balance out the world, whether it's via taxes, whether it's via lawsuits, whether it's via robbery, burglary, all kind of shit, extractive methods. We will come take what we need to come take because y'all want to generate as much as y'all generate, right? Welcome to the game of life. Welcome to the playing field. This has been happening since Napoleon, Caesar, you name it. Just keep on going back, keep on going back. Those who have generated masses of wealth have only been freed because they can pay for it. They can pay an extractor of that wealth for it. Yeah, so people pay to get off when it comes to the courtrooms. It's a bribe, y'all. It's a big fucking bribe. All right? The lawyers get paid by the people who work too, right? The taxpayer money pays for the trial to happen. But some of y'all want blood, keep it a bean, right or wrong. Some of you hear somebody did a crime or something, like, nah, fuck that. Something gotta give. They gotta do 25 or better, or we want the death penalty or whatever, like something's gotta give. Or we gonna take it to our own hands. Pretty Old Testament type shit, but it still happens to this day, street justice and shit like that. Still happens. But we want blood, we want the extraction of something. So the show must go on, right? The show must go on. Again, this would not have to happen without scarcity. The concept of scarcity, right? There's only a certain amount of money in a budget. Look at the earth. Really? No. But we got to play our positions, right? We got to make sure that we get ours. So just like there's homeless people, there has to be a tax code, because everybody's not going to be on code to be like, oh, yeah, I'll help you out. And again, behavior. You might help somebody out that try to take you down. It's just like, oh, I won't do that again, right? And it's deep because Venus rules over Taurus too. So, but again, what happens if Venus just stays lording over a very selfish and possessive energy? And the generators keep on generating. Eventually, something's going to have to give because there's going to be too much generated. Again, I think we should put more emphasis on generation being humans. Because if we put it on money, okay, we can also put it on money and then we can explain the reason for behavior. Once we make the wealth external, like units that can pay for things, yeah, you can pay for somebody to do something, strange for a piece of change. Because we place value on it. When all we really had to do from the giddy up was just place value on behavior. Consent. Don't trespass. Ask. You want something? Ask. If it's a no, it's a no. No means no. We got to go beyond that. All right, we're going to play the game of generator and extractor though. Until some real men, like real live men and women, and women, gather these thoughts and really put it together. There's a religious quote. The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man hears no threat. In lamest terms, that means generators of wealth pay wealth to get off for doing what they want to do. The poor man doesn't have to worry about that shit. The poor man doesn't have enough, what do you call it? I don't want to call it resources. But the poor man just doesn't have enough vices at disposal, just doesn't have enough, things to get involved with any of that shit. It doesn't mean that they're not valuable. It just doesn't mean that they don't have all of the extras. They don't have the bells and the whistles that some people need in order to feel accepted. I'm talking largely about extroverted type behavior. Don't feel triggered or I can't tell you what to feel, but I'm trying to tell you not to take this personal. If you're an extrovert, even if you're an introvert, again, you might not want to hear that you're a destroyer or an oppressor or the oppressed. But trust me when I tell you, I've met some people who are not rich that are great fucking people. Like fantastic fucking people. And again, vice versa. But it's also like, even the people who are very wealthy, they don't want to live next to the people who aren't. It's a double-edged sword when it comes to the behavior. Yeah, we got some sick motherfuckers walking around here that's in neighborhoods that are not affluent. But we also got some sick motherfuckers walking around affluent neighborhoods that are that way because of how much they have. But to be held for your ransom, wealth, to be held for your... That just means like we'll build you up just to take you down. So yeah, you'll see the news, you'll see the courtrooms fill up, you'll see these big cases, these headlines. Everybody gets in on it. The authorities, the police, the investigators, the feds, everybody's in on it. Look at the CIA salary. Have you ever asked yourself, well, why would they do that why do that? Why do that when you're going after people who got yachts and acres of land and some of them are drug runners why would you do that? And this is what I'm talking about. Real men and women who say, look, at this point, y'all are just generating more humans to play with them like they're toys, like to just dispose of them. But there's still a human right that should be afforded to every human that touches down here. Because spirit rules over the earth. Man don't rule over the earth. But if spirit gotta act and move and channel through man and woman in order to establish this equality thing, it's gonna fucking happen, B. It's gonna happen. Yeah, you might not do 30, 40 years. But you're going to pay a whole fucking lot to not do 30, 40 years. You're going to pay. You're going to pay all of us off. Or all of them off. Whoever they are. right? If you disagree, get in the comment section. If something I'm saying is off or wrong, just get in the comment section. I would love to open this conversation up more. This has been festering on my mind for some time now. And I've kind of tested it on different videos. Like I said, watch Monkey in the Middle if you want to get like the infancy of where this derives from. But I got some notes here too. The literal interpretation of the quote, the Bible quote, is in ancient times, wealth could sometimes be used to bribe captors and secure someone's release. See what I'm saying? It's a big bribe, y'all. It's a big bribe because a large amount of people agreed to the concept of value being extracted out of us and put in a tangible form. So here we are. I don't know how many years later. Here we are. This interpretation suggests that the rich have an advantage in dangerous situations because they can potentially buy their freedom, right? It's that person that says that they can't go to jail. You may say, well, why can't you go to jail? You see how many other people in the jail. And they'll say they can't go to jail because of who they are and how much money they have. Oh, really? How much money of that you got? How much of that money you want to fork over? And yes, some people are duped. Some people are under hypnosis. I'm not going to use the word sheep here. No. And it's because, again, like I said, a lot of people agreed on the concept of value being extracted from inside to be put in a tangible form. So the more people that adopt that, they should be privy and obligated to receive some of that Robin Hood treasure. Right? Oh, you scared to go to prison after you did a whole lot of foul shit? Well, because so many people agreed on this external form of value, we're going to take a lot of it from you. And then you could go live in a fucking village that'll accept you, you know, maybe live off the grid or, you know, below the radar. So, you know, people won't get up with you anyway. But if that's, you know, it's a bribe, y'all. It's a big old bribe. Social commentary. This interpretation highlights the disparity between rich and poor. The wealthy may be targeted more often for threats of ransom demands due to their perceived wealth. However, the poor, having less to lose, might be overlooked by those seeking ransoms, which is true. So you may say, well, Benjamin, don't you side or, you know, have some type of feeling, a sentiment for the uber rich? I don't know, man. I don't look. If I had to answer that immediately, I'd say no. I'm gonna just keep it a bean with y'all. I'd say no, and you'd probably say that's because you're not uber rich, and I'd probably say maybe you're right. I'm open to that interpretation, but also because I feel that I possess the knowledge about scarcity, crafted scarcity, crafted wealth. A scarcity of wealth, then it's kind of like I know better. So I can't really feel sorry or feel bad for people being targeted. Look, I know people who are not uber rich and they look uber rich. Am I supposed to feel okay because they're not really uber rich? No, I don't feel it for them either. And I used to be that person. I could be that person in the snap of a finger. I could go do a wardrobe thing right now. You know what I'm saying? And look like, you know, I'll even attract the women that I used to attract and everything. Like, oh, yeah, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Oh, we going to the club tonight and that. Skirt. Wrong nigga. I know how to do it. We all know how to do it. We all know how to put on a face, wear a face, use what we got to get what we want. Even if we invest in it, like, yo, I'm going to go get these Gucci loafers because I'm trying to bag this bitch. And then she get to know you a bit and you can't keep buying Gucci loafers. You can't buy me no Gucci loafers, bitch. I only had enough for this pair. Fuck is you talking about? You get what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's so healthy to laugh at ourselves, especially at this point. So I guess, I mean, look, right? Because in astrology, you can actually pinpoint where masses of wealth will be generated. And, that's what I said. I was kind of reluctant. I'm still kind of reluctant to do financial discussions and packages and stuff for people, because not only I know it's changing and it's about to really undergo a huge change. What you're seeing, look, right? I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. What you're seeing is the ills of capitalism. That's what I'm talking about, like the excessiveness of generation. You call it wealth generation or human generation. It's the ills of capitalism. Oh, we're going to expand. We're going to build companies this big, and we're going to, industrial revolution and this, that, and the third. Oh, we got to make more babies. And look what happened when everything was built. The wages got real slower. The prices went way up. Those generators who generated, whether it was the concept, the ideas, the buildings, the patents, the paperwork, they have amassed the wealth, right? So when you know that, what do you expect? You want to feel. Look, I don't feel sorry for the uber rich. I kind of support the economic hitmen. I support the Robin Hoods of the world, and the Robin Hoods of the world are the policemen, the authorities, and I mean, some of y'all might say, "Oh, they're killing black people." I get it. That's fucked up, and I don't like that either. You understand? I don't like that either. They killing brown people too. They killing all ethnicities and stuff like that. This shit it goes deep, like I said, but it's negative energy. Destroyers. As much as generated, balance gets destroyed for restoration of balance. Somebody's going to end up getting their hands dirty, and it's fucked up when it's inaccurate, right? When justice is blind. It's like that person wasn't the person who was supposed to get it, but they got it. So now there's coming another restoration. I do have a story. I'm not gonna get it, but there's this story out there that's kind of like this. Someone had wrongfully convicted someone for a long time, and they ended up losing their life to a relative of the person that they convicted. It's a true story. I'm gonna leave it like that without heavily detailing it, because I don't want to put nobody out there. But I want you to think about that. That's a restoration of balance. Yeah, justice was blind. That economic hitman, that lawyer, did that person dirty. But look how it came back. It's fucked up, right? Restoration of balance. Karma is real. 12 house rules over karma and the Pisces thing and everything. I started off with the Aries and the Pisces energy. What goes around comes around. I was going to go into the rundown of people who have their estates when they pass away, and they don't no longer own their estates, or their family members don't own their estates. It isn't passed down. Other people own their estates. But I feel now that I'm doing this, I feel that there's no need for that. I feel really pleased with what I've already stated. I feel like I've made points that I didn't even think that I was going to start making. Yeah. Just notice, right? Like, you may think some things are unfair. Whenever you think things are unfair, just really pay more closer attention to what's going on around you, especially when it comes to economics. All right? We have economic hitmen because a large part of the population agreed with the concept of value being extracted out of the human to be put in tangible form. So now every day we wake up playing a game of give and take. Now I do want to make a video on Venus. I'm kind of reluctant to do that because then I have to reveal some of my secrets, and a lot of them are going to be about women. And I don't know if I'm ready to do that right now. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all are underestimating women, and I'm thinking like maybe I should just let that ride. Let the women do them, right? Because a lot of the times a woman doesn't tell anyway. But it's awkward too because a lot of the times women come to me and they want to know this shit that I know. As if they don't know it, or they just need to be reminded of it or hear it again because they've been repressed and oppressed for so long by the generators. You know what's deep as well? The generators are the oppressors, and the negatrons are usually the oppressed. Again, why would the CIA take, what, 30, 40 grand a year? Why? Why? When you're doing fucking James Bond shit. Because they were born to do it. They were born investigators. They were born Pisces. They were born Scorpios. Some of them were born Aries. And they just like, man, fuck that. I need some action, and I want this kind of action. Now put me in the field. Give me a gun. Give me 2 guns. I want one for my leg too. Got some Leos out there too. Generators. Look, I want to go after people that I feel are fucking dicks. Just make sure I can fucking hold down an apartment. You know what I mean? Get me out there. It's in their celestial DNA. I could look at a natal chart and be like, oh yeah, you was a born investigator. You was a born extractor. How much drug money they making over there? Well, all right, we'll build the case 5, 10 years. Yeah, we can go get them. We're going to go get them. We're going to go get them. And we're going to build libraries with the drug money and all kind of, oh, y'all want to put value, you want to extract value from inside the human, put it in tangible form and say, let's play a game? And you want to make these tangible units faster than everybody else because it empowers you to pay them and bribe them to do things to them and with them that they normally probably maybe would not do. Some of them would be doing it anyway because they got celestial DNA too. You know, this born porn stars the same way that this born investigators. But my point being is just like, okay, it's game on then. Because if that's what the fuck we got to do down here, that's what we're going to do down here. That's why I'll be telling y'all this life shit is a game. Astrology really describes that for us. You got your own hand. It's called the natal chart. Play your hand. We got transits. That's the game chips. You know, I was playing Monopoly Go. I'm going to play on Monopoly Go. If y'all want to play Monopoly Go, just look me up. I'll be playing Monopoly Go, right? One thing about Monopoly Go is that the dice, which is relative to the sun, God gambles, 5th house, creation. That's where creation is, 5th house, Leo. You run out of dice, and that's when you got to like stop playing unless you buy more dice. You get what I'm saying? So you need more money. But when you run out of dice, that means you run out of energy. In the real game, in the real world, if you can't roll the dice no more, that means you ran out of vitality, solar power, the energy, the source. You ran out of it. So what do you got to do? You got to shut the game off for a little while. What do? We go to sleep. You ever heard that? If you broke, how you save money was a good way to save money. Go take your ass to sleep. You can't spend none, right? But I'm serious. You shut the body down. You shut the source down purposely, intentionally. Until it generates back up. Keyword, generate back up. So you could roll the dice again and take another gamble, take another risk. Right? So that's interesting. Think about that before you start exchanging value with someone else. Because gambling and taking a risk, Leo is about individuality. It's something that you do on your own. So when you decide to link up with other people and make deals and get into contracts with people, try to vet them out. Try to ask for their natal chart and shit like that. Try to figure out who these people are. And think about consent. And also, look, I'm going to leave you with this, right? Realize that you're going to share some value. And because a lot of us agreed on the concept of extracting value from the internal and putting them in tangible forms of units, realize that you're going to pay for some shit out here. I'm kind of really talking to men right now. I'm kind of targeting y'all right now for y'all that are watching. This whole buying a bitch Burger King and this, that, and the third. All right. Look, you're going to pay for some pussy, B, one way or another. Get consent, and get ready to share. Or you're going to be by yourself or your life. And if that's what you want to do, fine. Love yourself and all that, fine. But don't be out here complaining, talking about bitches ain't shit and this, that, and third, because you have no idea. Women do stuff in this world that men can't. Women have much more insight than men do. I'm going to say that for my Venus video, if I ever decide to do it. But I hope y'all got something out of this. I know I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed speaking about it. I've used about a quarter of my notes, and I'm not using the rest of this shit. Fuck it. I'm good with it. I don't need to mention all of the stars who left their legacies behind or who didn't leave their legacies behind. And I had all kinds of notes I was going to go into that shit. But fuck that. This is enough. Till next time, I'm out.